Welcome to Master Laravel and Livewire. Build a dynamic blogging system. Ready to elevate your web development skills? Let's dive in. Build a dynamic blogging system from scratch using Laravel Livewire 3. Learn real-time components, validation, and more. Set up your environment, create interactive components, and tackle a full-featured blog project with authentication and real-time updates. Join hundreds of students and master Laravel Livewire. Enroll now and start building today. Click the link below to get started with Master Laravel and Livewire.
Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how we are going to create a Livewire 3 blog using the latest Livewire 3. So in this course, you're going to look at how to create such a blog, and we are going to get to learn what are the Livewire 3 new features that were introduced recently. So let's get started. So here we're going to start with the home page, and I'm going to show you what the project is all about. So as you can see here, we have different web dev posts. And this project, or this blog, in other words, it's using Livewire 3. And then I'm just going to show you what are the different items that are in this blog, and then we'll continue. Now, look at it. You can see here we have the home page, and the home page. Currently, I'm logged out. So as I'm logged out, we have different posts. And this post, of course, we can see we have a maximum of these are 5 posts. So that means in the home page, of course, we have a pagination of at least 5 posts that are within the home page. Now, the first thing I'll show you here is we have a real-time search within Livewire 3. So, for example, if I search for post with blog here, you can see this is the post that will be left here because it is the one which has that tag of post. Now, if I go to website, for example, the moment I search for website, we are also represented with these 3 different posts. So that is a real-time search that we are going to implement in this particular blog. We also have other features such as pagination. And the pagination here is with Livewire 3, pagination has been made so easy. So here, for example, I can go to different pages. I can go to page 3, page 4, page 5, and 6, 7, and so forth. So that just simply shows you how pagination is easy, and how we have integrated this pagination for it to work. Right, so this is the pagination that we're also going to implement within Livewire 3. We also have other forms of pagination which I will show you as we continue. Like you can jump to a page, you can there are different ways in which we're going to use Livewire 3 to create that is to implement the pagination very well. Now we also have the front end, and you can see this pagination, for example, it utilizes the Bootstrap. So the first time when you install Livewire 3, it comes with a Tailwind, although it has the option for the Tailwind theme and the blog and the Bootstrap theme. So you're also going to implement that in this application, and of course you're going to implement the Bootstrap because this website is styled using the Bootstrap, and that's what we have here. So you can see this out system, for example, that is this navbar. It's also using the Bootstrap, that is 5, the Bootstrap 5, of course. We also have the login and the logout pages. For example, when I navigate to the login, this is the login of this website, and you can see we have a nice visually appealing login component, and as well we also have the registration that you can register within this given application here. So that is what we are also going to create this using the something we call component layout within Livewire 3. Now we also have so let's get started with the normal user. So I want us to log into this application. So when we log in, you can see here what we have is okay, so let's log in here. So when the user is logged in, he's taken to the home page, of course. Now when he's taken to the home page, For example, if it tries to access the dashboard, because we're also going to implement the middleware in this application. For example, you try to go to manage post. So when you go to manage post, the person is forbidden because he's a normal user. He can't access because he's not an admin. So we're also going to implement this in this given application. So we are going to implement this here. Right, so another feature that we have here is let's go to one of the posts. For example, let's click on this post here. Now when you click on this post here, you'll be taken to the detailed page of that given post. So here we have a post with of course the image, the body text, and of course we have comments which are related to this post. So for example, Gerard has commented on this post, and for example, let me show you something. Now already Gerard has commented on this post. If we go to log out here like this, now when you go to log out like this and I try to log in again, let's say I log in as the admin. So let's log in as the admin here. So what is going to happen here is that of course I'll be taken to the dashboard whereby you can create a new post, and you can of course be able to view the post that you have created. And of course each post has the comment count, so it is able to show you which comment belongs to that, how many comments do you have for that post. So now there is a feature I need to show you here. For example, let's go to the detailed, let's click on this and we're going to be taken. Now you can see this forbidden here. The moment I reload on this here, now I'm able to access of course the dashboard. Now here we have this. Now let's say for example, let me log out again. Let me just log out again. Let's go to this post again. Now when I come here, you can see here for me to join this discussion, you can see Gerard already commented here. For me to reply on this part here, the moment you click, there will be a modal pop-up. So this modal pop-up is going to tell you that you need to log in order for you to reply. So you can close it of course, and you can click on it and then click login. Now you'll be taken to the login page of course, and then once you're logged out, I need you to observe something. You can see the moment I log in, I'm taken back to the same page whereby now I can comment and maybe say something like, because I'm the admin, say something like thanks, and then I hit the reply. So when I hit reply, of course, now I've replied to that comment. And that's how we're going to implement comments within Livewire. Now that feature whereby you log in, you try to reply, but you are supposed to log in first, and then you're taken back to the same page, is a concept that you are going to apply within Laravel Livewire. So that is something that we're going to see. Let's go back again to the admin features. So let's go back again to with the admin features here, there are several things that you can do. For example, the first one, you can create a new post. So let's say here you want to create a new post. So the moment you start typing how to create, you can see there will be a validation here. Now this validation was introduced in Livewire 3, and it is mostly encompasses what we call the PHP attributes. So PHP attributes are being introduced in Livewire 3, whereby you can give more than one validation statements. So for example, your title is too short, or please you need to give a title, because this form of course it can submit without giving the given input fields. So for example, here when you type how to create something, now the title, of course, that validation is going to disappear. So the same thing applies here. So you can say somebody text here like this, and you can see it also disappears like this. Now another thing here is, first let's create a new post. So here I type how to write blog post, something like that, and then somebody text here like this. Now the moment you do that, we also have this feature for upload photos. Now this upload photos is one to many. For example, you can upload more than one photo. So the moment I click on this one here, for example, I can choose laptop, I can choose this two, or I can also choose this another one. So let me use control here, and then I click on that, and I click on that. So here what we have is that we have 3 images, and this means this is one to many. And we also have a feature whereby you can review that particular image before you update it. So not update, but before you create the post. So what is happening here is that we're going to implement a feature whereby the primary photo is the one that is going to be selected the first. Of course, in this blog, we're only showing one image at a time. That is when we go to the home page, we're only showing one image at a time. So that is what you can see here. So it's only one image. But now let's say this concept you want to apply it in an e-commerce whereby you have an image slider. You may want to implement this feature whereby you can be able to view several images within your post, within your website. So in this case here, I'm going to select one, and in this case, for example, let me select, let me just choose that one and then open. So we're going to have that, and the moment I create this post, we're going to have something we call wire loading, which is introduced within the Livewire 3. I'm going to show you what that is. Now, I want you to observe something. The moment I click save, you can see it is saying save in post, and then the post is saved, and now it has been created. And of course, you can be able to view it on your front end here, which is now this post here. All right, guys. So what else do we have? So we also have another feature. Now, this validation you can see here is it doesn't check if the title is unique as well as if the body is unique. So we are also going to implement another feature whereby we allow our posts to have unique title, because you can find here I'm creating two posts which have the same name. So let's say, for example, I create this post here and I copy that title and I place it here, and then of course I use you have some body text here like this, and then of course I choose an image. So let me choose that one, and then I click open. Now what is going to happen here, this post with is going to be created. Now it did not tell you that this title was unique, so we are going to implement that concept in Livewire 3. So what happens here is Caleb Pozio, who is the founder of Livewire 3, he has introduced several validation ways. So there's one that we're going to implement. Now the one that you can see we have the red lines is just the normal validation message. They are basic validation messages, but you're going to implement the one that is if, for example, you want more complex validation, for example, checking if the titles are unique, we are going to implement that. Another feature we are going to implement here, so let's move out of there, is resizing of these photos. You can see these photos here, they are looking at the same, they are the same dimensions. So here we're going to use something we call image intervention within Laravel this time, but you're going to place it within Livewire, so that your images are the same dimensions. We're also going to handle event listeners, whereby, for example, one component can listen for an event with another component. However, with the event listeners, you need to have the components with the same, you need to have the components in the same page. So that is for them to communicate together. So you may be creating something here, and another component here is listening for that event, and then it updates. You're going to look at that one in this entire course. You also have eager loading. Now these images, they have they have eager loading, so that they can prevent what we call the N plus problem, whereby you find that it may take longer for this post to display, to load within your website. So we call it speed optimization. So we're also going to use eager loading for speed optimization. We're also going to learn the PHP attributes that were introduced in Livewire 3 in this particular entire course. As well, we're also going to implement the many-to-many relationship, whereby you can have a photo, that is a post with more than one photo. We're also going to look at Livewire 3 polling. So polling is a feature whereby when you create a new post, it refreshes the post. For example, look at the posts that are within the manage post. So for example, here, when you come here, let's say, for example, you come on the create post, and let's say, so we have something like my title 1, like that, and then some text here. Now I choose an image, So in this case, let me choose the laptop one, and then here I create that post. Now I want you to observe something. When that post is created, the polling Livewire 3 polling is going to update. You can see now it has updated the post that I've just created. So this feature here is called Livewire 3 polling, and we're going to look at it and see how we can implement it. So within a period of 10 seconds, this post has been updated live. So I did not have to refresh this page in short for me to see which post has been created. And that's what Livewire 3 offers, and many more features we're also going to implement along way as we continue learning more on this. So, so what are you waiting for? Let's jump right in. Welcome back to this series. So we are going now to, in this video, we're going now to create a basic Livewire component. That is, we're going to create a component for a real-time search bar. So we're going to get started by installing Laravel 10. So I'm in Laravel 10 documentation here. So what you need to do here, you need to come here, and then I'll just need to copy that command there. And then here I'm going to paste this command, and then I'm going to change this to real time. I'm going to change it to so let's have something like that, time search bar, like that. You can just remove the like that. Okay, so that is the name of the application. I'm going to click enter so that it will get installed. Now so that it has been fully installed. So now one thing you need to know is that this application is on htdocs. So on htdocs, here is where we have this application here. So that's where it has now been installed, and you can see it is this one here. So what I'm going to do here is that this is the real-time search bar. I can navigate using the CD. This is the real-time search bar like this, and then here I can use this command code to open that particular project. So the project is opened. We can close the form one, and then now let's open this. So this is now our Laravel project or application. Now we can migrate the database here. Let me use the git bash here. I prefer it. So here I can, for example, running php artisan migrate like this. So what will happen here is that when you go to your env file here, you can see database that has been created here is Laravel. However, we can change this to a different database, and you can see there's some error here. So let me just, we need to have XAMPP started. Just forgot this to do this quickly. So you need to have, I'll show you how to install all these particular softwares. So you don't need to worry, because this is just a demo to show you how Livewire works. So you'll need to have this, but I'll show you how to install it in the upcoming videos. So you need to have this one installed like this. So the database name is Laravel. However, you can change this to maybe Laravel, or you can change it to Livewire real-time search bar like this. However, this one looks too long. So what we can do, we can just let's just have it as Livewire 3 log app, something like that. So let's just have it that way, so that now since this is now up and running, you just start the two, Apache and MySQL, and then here when you click, now it will ask you if you need to create the database. So here I'm going to go with yes. And with yes, what is going to happen is that database is going to be created, and then the migrations are going to happen just like that. Now the next thing here we need to do is to install the Livewire, and we can install the Livewire by going to their documentation, go to quick start and get that command. So the command is this one here to install the Livewire. So I'm just going to paste that one there. Let me take this one up. All right, now this is done. So we have installed the Livewire 3.0, which is the one that now we are using. So the next thing here I'll need to do is come and type this command here, php artisan make. Then here I'm going to have make Livewire, and then here we're going to have search users like that, because that's the application that we're creating, just to search for users. And then I click enter. So the two are going to be created, the class and the view, and that's how Livewire works. So the class is going to be created on the app Livewire, and then the class name, and then view is going to be created on the resources, views, Livewire, and then search users. So that's what we have here, and you can locate them by coming here, and then you get your search users component, and the blade is here, the resources, the views, and then Livewire, and then the blade is this one here. So now once that is done and it has been created, we can now update the component. So I'll hit Control P just to get the component, and then here I'm just going to have this. So the first thing I'm going to have is a property, which I'm going to declare here. Then you're going to have search like that, and then I'm going to leave it empty like this. So I'm going to have public search. Down here, actually on the render, we're going to have something. So on the render here, what I'm going to do here, I'm declaring this property to be empty so that it can receive the input that is going to be updated when the user, of course, types a particular input when he's searching for a particular item. So here, what I'm going to do here is that just here, I'm going to have this. So I'm going to have users, which is equals to the user model. Then you're going to have where name, this is a string, going to have name, and then here we're going to have like, going to have these two percentage signs. So we're going to have the actually they're in quotes like this, and then going to have this search, and then we have that for space, and then we have this again. And then here we're going to have get like that, and then we close with this. Now I'm going to explain what we mean by what I'm doing here. So what I'm doing here is that I'm saying in the user's model, because we're just going to create it in a second, that's why this error is coming, because it can't find this model. So we're going to say within the user's model, whereby we have the list of users within our table. So we're going to search for a name, and this name is going to be whatever the user is going to type within our blade. So here we declare the search property, which is going to bind our input to the component, so that when the input will change, the Livewire will automatically update the search property and render this component. And that's how it's going to show the updated search result. So what I'm going to do here, I can import this class, and this is the class I need to import so that that error can disappear away. Now, so once that is done, the next thing here we need to do here is that we need to update the blade, and I'll press Ctrl S, and then here I'm going to search for this. So this blade, I'm going to update it with something here. So with Livewire, what you need to know is that we have what we call root elements. The opening div and closing, they always have to be that way with Livewire. However, I'm going to explain more of this as we continue. So input type is equal to search, is equal to text, sorry. We're going to have text, and then we're going to have a wire model for binding, whereby we're going to bind our input with the search property, so that when the user, of course, types something, the component will be rendered based on what the user is searching for. So here next we're going to have is a placeholder, so which is going to be equal to search users like that, and then we close this that way. Now once we have the placeholder in check, the next part is to have this unordered list. This unordered list is just to, it's going to loop, so we're going to have a for each here like this. So the for each is going to loop over the users, then as user like this, and then here we're going to have a list items that are going to be found within our database. So you're going to have these two curly braces like this, and then you're going to get, of course, the username like this. So that once now we do that, can now end and use that end for each. So this is simple because we are just looping over. So we are saying for each item in users, and of course the users, we're going to store it within the user, and then we're going now to print whatever we find on our table. So that is what we have in this particular part here. The wire model is just to bind our input with the public search property here. Now let's continue. Now once we are done with that, we're going to do, now there's something you need to know with Livewire 3 is that as you get started here, that is on the quick start here, is that we need to register route for the component. Now with Livewire 3, we can now register routes for a particular component, but with Livewire 2, we never did that. So what you're going to do here, I want you to go to web.php, and then here you're going to have something here. So what you're going to do here, you're going to have this get, and then you're going to have search users. So search users is what? Search users is this particular blade that we are calling, which is the search users. And then here we are calling now the class, which is this one, like that. And then here we need to import that class, can be found. So this is search users, and then this is we need to have this like this. The class should be there. All right, so this is the class, so search users, so the class is already imported. So yeah, so that class is there. So we are going to this blade here, and then the component, of course, so that now we are able to load this. Now another thing is that we need to create a template layout, because with Livewire 3 we need to have the app blade. Remember before with Livewire 2, if you did Livewire 2, is that we used to append the Livewire styles and the Livewire scripts. In this case, we're not going to do that. We're just going to have this simple app blade, and what it is going to do with this slot is going to render all the components within your application individually. So you don't need to write the app that is at Livewire styles and Livewire scripts. So what you're going to do here is that if this, for example, we can look for this app blade, if it is there, and you can see by default is not there. So what you're going to do here, we're going to come back here, and then I'll need to grab that, and then I create that, and now the app blade that we were searching for, it is now there within the resources, views, components, then the layout like this. So it is now there and it is now created. Now the next item here is that now, as you can see here, is that within this application here, let me open another Git bash. You can run the PHP artisan serve, but you can see when we go to the, so that is 128 slash the search users. I believe that is what we have here. Let me just confirm this. So it is slash users with the underscore that. So you can see there's something here to do with a defined variable users. So I don't know if it can find this particular component here, but we'll check that in a minute. So we have the app, this, and then we have this component here like this. Now looking at this here, it is not defined here because we have not returned the given users. So for example, here we have this, so we have users, and then we have this like this at users. That is what we are doing here. We are now saying get that is the users variable is like in other words, we are simply saying now display the users that have been found within this given application here. So that's something that we need to have, so that it can now return the users that we have found here. That's why I believe this particular error is coming. Now you can see there's nothing here that I wanted to show you. So what we're going to do here is that we have now created the template layout. Now I want us to create a factory so that we can seed our users table with data. Now if you don't have the user factory, you can first check if you have it or not. You can see for my case I have it, so I don't need to create it. So what I'll need to do here is that I'll need to make a seeder now so that I can seed this table with data. So what I need to do here is it's very simple. I'm going to call this. So I'm going to have, let's first clear this. I'm going to have PHP artisan like this. So I'm going to say make a seeder, and then here we're going to have users table seeder like this. So PHP artisan make table, that is make seeder, then of course this table seeder is going to be created, and within it we can locate for it. So we can just type users table seeder, which is going to be this, like this. And then here, what I'm going to do here on this run place here, I'm going to have this that is app/models, because what we want to do, we want to locate for the model user, which is now the factory. We want to locate the factory, so that now we can use the rules that we find within the factory there, and then we are now going to seed our table with 50 users. So here I'm going to call the create method there. So we are going to have that, then we end it like this. So what will happen here is that this is going to go to the users, that is the app, model, and then the user factory, and then it's going to create 50 users within the factory using the rules within the factory model. So here, let me just import this quickly, and then we have that imported like that. So we have that imported that way. Now, once that is done, let's come back here, and then we're going to do something here. So here I'm going to call PHP artisan db seed that, and then you're going to have class is equals to users and then table seeder, like that. So what is going to happen here is that we are now seeding our table with that particular data there. So when I click enter, we have now seeded the database with 50 users. And of course, we can come here and check our database. So let's just check our database. So our database is real-time search. So let me just close that. So real-time search is okay. So sorry, we create Livewire 3 blog. So the users here are this, as you can see. These are the users that we have now seeded within our database. And what is going to happen here, this is going to update this with the users now, which are coming from the database. Now, once that is done, we can now visit our component here. There's something we are missing here. We can't see there should be the form, search form, or this is input. So sorry about this. I'm sure you might have noticed this. So we're going to have the input search. Now you can see when I try to search for something, it's not updating in real time. So there's something here that Caleb emphasized. I may want to show you, but so there's something that is called removed, which was there by default. That is the live. So for example, you can see the component is not updating as you type. So what happened here is that he removed the live mode was removed by default. So this is to reduce the network request within your live application. So what you need to do here, you need to append this with live like this, so that now once you do this, what is going to happen here is that as I refresh, actually I don't need to refresh, and I type for something, you can see now it is able to find. For example, if we check this, try to type for this, you can see now it's updating in real time. And that's how you create a basic component within Livewire 3. Lastly, you can, for example, let's say if you search for something and it's not there, you can see it will only be an empty page. So you may not want this when you're creating your applications. So you can use something here that is called @if, and then here you say count, and then here you pass the users like this, and then we have users count. So we are counting the users. Of course, they has to be greater than 0. That is greater than 0 and onwards. And then here we do this. We are ending here for each, which is for this for each here. So here we are going to have else. That is if the count is less than 0, of course. That is if there are no items. We are going to have else here. We're going to have an li, which is going to say no user found with the event title. So like this, and then we close this one that way. Once we do that, we close this with end if, which is this one here. So that is what we have there. We can push this a little bit like that, and then so we are just checking if the account users are, so if they are greater than 0, then this one is going to be input, else you're going to have this inputted, meaning that there was no user found in that given application. So when you try to search for something, it's telling you that no user found with the given title, which I believe is a good way for creating such that is for this particular kind of applications. So so let's meet in the next video, whereby we'll begin with now the installation of these particular softwares, and I'm going to show you how to install them. And then from there, if you're using Mac, if you're using Linux, if you're using Windows, we're going to check all that. So let me meet you in the next video.